Wow, we've got a tan out here. Tell you what, the girls in Liverpool would love it up here. Hello everybody, how's everyone feeling after the lunch? All right? How's everyone at the back? Wave. Awesome, well thanks very much to Ollie and the team, and Dan, and Angela, who's really looked after me and hassled the life out of me to get these slides ready. So thanks for the invite. And we work in the recruitment space, and we also work with in-house teams, but we also work outside of recruitment. So we do a lot of retail, insurance, legal, and we like to take best practice and apply it in other worlds. Okay, and we're very much into the science of what makes things work and then applying creativity to it. So what I'm going to do is, hence the title, look at the science and art of social media recruitment and some of the tools, techniques and ingredients that I think, if I was a marketing director and owned an agency, it's what I would do. So the first thing, we met any Liverpool fans? Any Spurs fans? Yeah, didn't think there were many of them. The first thing is to decide what is the goal. What's the goal? And you don't have to be the best in the world, although Steven Gerrard is arguably being one of the best in the world. But at the time when we won the Champions League, which feels forever ago now, we shouldn't have won that game. We shouldn't have won it. But they focused on the goal. They had 45 minutes to go. And we can still win this. So what's your goal? What is your goal as an agency? Be it, what's the overall strategy? But what's the goal? I want to hire and find an oil and gas candidate. Don't lose sight of the goal. Ollie touched on this before, and he did a really good job, actually, Ollie. Well done, Ollie, if you're around. I'm still trying to wonder if Ollie was a brand, what would he be? Don't tweet that out. But he talked about a guy called Simon Sinek. I don't know if anybody's heard of him. He's done this TED Talk. Check it out. It's 18 minutes. And he talks about people by why you do it, not what you do. And he really works with people to try and understand what their why is. And he says it in a very, very simple way. He talks about Apple. Apple and Dell do the same thing. And if they sold it from the outside in, which would be what and the how, they'd say, we make great computers, they've got loads of memory, and they're really fast, do you want to buy one? And he says, that's not what Apple do. They focus on the why. What they say is, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. We happen to make beautifully designed products and computers that are amazingly easy to use and intuitive. We happen to make great computers. Do you want to buy one? They start with why. Another brand that does this brilliant is Red Bull. Forget the tins of pop and crazy juice that they put in there. They own extreme sports. Their mission, their cause, their why is to go and own that space. You see a Formula One car, you think about Red Bull. You see bikes jumping off buildings in Vegas. I don't know if you've seen the video. You think of Red Bull. They sent someone to the moon to jump out of outer space. Crazy shit. But you think about Red Bull, they own that space. Think about what is your why and be brave. Don't do normal, boring shit. Because we're not interested in that. There's a guy called Seth Godin, Ollie touched on him before, a book called The Purple Cow. Aim to be remarkable. This video I'm going to show you now took 6 months to get past the board of directors, the exec board, the people who are scared of social media. Just check this out.
Ship my pants? Right here? Ship my pants, you're kidding. You can ship your pants right here. You hear that? I can ship my pants for free.
Wow, I just may ship my pants.
Yeah, ship your pants. Billy, you can ship your pants too.
I can't wait to ship my pants, Dad.
I just shipped my pants, and it's very convenient.
Very convenient.
I just shipped my drawers.
I just shipped my nightie.
I just shipped my bed.
If you can't find what you're looking for in store, we'll find it at Kmart.com right now and ship it to you for free.
It's quite funny, isn't it? Kmart are like, Walmart. No, Matalan. They're like Matalan over here. 6 months. It was seen like 30 million times in about 10 days. They've opened themselves up to a whole new fan base. They now have a whole series of videos and themes and Christmas cards with these characters on. They now have an engaged audience through the power of thinking differently. But they were shit scared to do it at first. They had to be brave. They had to be brave. And so you've got to think about and then first understand the audience. And it's not about understanding the masses. That's not what this is about. It's about understanding the individuals that you want to connect with. Who are those people? It's not about the masses. What makes people tick? So if we want to start thinking about this, I've spent the last 2 years looking at key ingredients, okay? And it started in 833 BC with Aristotle. Who's heard of Aristotle? I can't see a bloody thing anyway, even if you did have your hands up. Aristotle, the famous Greek philosopher, the godfather of communication. He wrote about 3 things. Ethos, persuading people through credibility and trust. We've heard trust today already. Work hard to earn people's trust. He then talks about logos, which is convincing people to do what you want through the power of facts and figures and logic. And then he talks about pathos, which is persuading people to do what you want through the power of emotion. Jedi mind tricks. And there's been studies done on this. The most powerful presentations, the most powerful stories in Hollywood, the most powerful anything, books, stories, storytelling, it has at least 65% pathos. It leads with emotion. And then if you look at what we've learned about ourselves in the last 10 years, we've learned more about the human brain and neuroscience and biology in the last 10 years. It was nearly 10 years ago we won the Champions League. Think about that, it feels like forever. So if we can understand scientific behavior and apply neuroscience, we can influence and persuade people to do what we want. Key ingredients. Key ingredients. So I did a talk about this 2 months ago, and I know Dr. Stephen Peters was here last year. I don't know if anybody was here last year, they saw him. And he is the sports psychiatrist for the British Olympic team. He works with Liverpool. Luis Suarez went to the bloody World Cup and left him behind, and look what happened, we lost him. But he talks about the chimp, which is communicating emotionally with the neocortex. And you have to get to the chimp first. Because unless you connect emotionally through content with your candidates, they won't even begin to make a decision to the facts and figures, which is going to convince them to take the steps that you want. So you've got the chimp, which is the neocortex, and we have the human, which is the rational part, and how people make decisions. And there's some key elements on there, and there's a video online where I talk about this for half an hour, but there's 2 things I want to draw out. By the way, these slides are there available, they're on the hashtag now. The first one is be the thought leader. Now we hear about this stuff in marketing, we want to be the thought leader. And then people are scared to bloody give stuff away. I give the best advice. I work in the legal sector. You try and get a partner or a solicitor to give free stuff away, you've got no chance. This guy freaks me out when I look at his photo. He's kind of scary looking, isn't he? He's kind of scary looking. Martin Lewis in 2003 spotted a niche. People wanted to know how to save money. And now the internet's here. Holy shit, let's start writing about this stuff. But he did some clever things. He created a website with assets in different forms other than content that helps you. He answers all the questions that his target audience asks about saving money, be it mortgages, insurance, or loans. And he made his content journalist-friendly. And suddenly, journalists influence the influencer, I'll be talking about that in a second, will go in, holy shit, this weird-looking guy has got loads of great content for us. And suddenly he was amplified. In 2012, he sold it for £87 million. He doesn't give a shit about saving money anymore. And then we need to lead with empathy. Okay, lead with empathy. The power of emotion. Now I've looked at this. There's 5 key emotions that your content needs to flow with. When you're telling stories, what type of tone or emotion should we look to embrace? Happy. We're all pretty happy, joyous bunch in here today. When we're happy, we're compelled to share. When we see funny things and cats jumping off with memes and gifs, it's not the bloody cat we're sharing, it's how we feel. People feel first, think second. Sad. It's a pretty sad film, that. Sometimes I think he looks a bit happy. I don't know why. But when we're sad, we feel compelled to share. Fear. When we're scared, we feel compelled to bond. When you're in the cinema and there's a scary scene, you get a bit closer, you feel compelled to bond with people and share that fear. Ooh. Anger. If we can go back. This guy had a shit day. When he went into McDonald's, he was seriously pissed off. But anger elicits a response. I said a phrase 3 months ago that SEO is dead. I got battered for it on Twitter. But I did it on purpose. I got the reaction that I wanted. I suddenly had people talking to me on Twitter, influencers had never spoke to me before. So I elicited the response through anger and anticipation. Who knows whether Sandra Bullock survives or not? I won't ruin the film. But we're compelled to want to know the end. Teaser campaigns, telling stories in various forms of content that keeps giving that little bit more. If you watch 24, I've lost sleep with 24. It should be sponsored by Red Bull. So 5 emotional drivers to drive chemicals in the brain that get us to the rational part of the brain. So in your marketing, are you thinking of emotion? I wonder how many of you are. I wonder how many of you are. And we do this by getting closer to the person. Some people have heard me speak about persona workshops, which is actually pretending to be your customer. An oil and gas person is probably spoken to quite differently to a HR person, HR fluffy type of person. You speak in different languages. What's the characteristics? What's their routines? What's the challenges in their professional life that you can help solve? What are they measured on? Can you help them on that? Have you got case studies that demonstrate how amazing you have fixed their problems that they're facing right now? And then that leads to empathy mapping. What are the emotions that they're going through? At the bottom there, you've got pain and gain. The biggest motivator in human psychology is pain. We aim to avoid the pain. If a bride's getting married and she goes to buy a dress, she wants to look great, but you can bet she doesn't want to look crap. We avoid pain first, hurt and rescue tactics. Bring out the pain and show your solution. Show people how you can fix it. Empathy mapping. And then there's tools that we can use to build our profile of our persona. Google, I've got to get Google in there somehow. Might get told off by Angela. But we've got to get Google there somehow. Google is using big data to help us understand the behavior of these people. We're moving away from keywords. It's about customer behavior and insight. Those tools will help you build a picture and a more scientific profile of the people you want to connect with. How do we find them? That's what you lot are interested in. How do we find them? Well, it's basically like going to the pub on payday. With social media, everyone's like, holy shit, there's all these channels. What should we be using? Blah, blah, blah. Well, what we do is we say, right, okay, if we want legal people, what pub do they go into on payday? Now, this is genuinely true. We work in the legal sector. Me and my business partner, 6 years ago, every payday on Friday, we went to the restaurant, bar and grill, Cross Keys, and the railway, because all the partners went in there on a Friday on payday to get pissed. So we went in, and we were nice. And we listened to conversations, and we didn't shove down the neck what it is we did. We were just nice and offered help. And it's the same in social media. If it's teachers you're after, a lot of them are in Pinterest because they share lesson plans. So that's what you've got to do. You've got to decide what pub you need to step into and be nice. And there's tools to help you do this and to uncover that. There's lots of different tools. There's a tool called Follow a Wonk. It's a great tool, crazy name. And what it does, you can search by keywords the Twitter profiles and the tweets of what people talk about. So I go for .NET developers, have a look at them, and I can filter by how many followers and their social authority and how active that they are, and I start to see who are the influencers. And the example here is .NET Magazine. It's got 60,000 followers, but it's not .NET Magazine that I'm interested in. I'm interested in the editors or the journalists who write the articles at .NET Magazine. They're the influencers. They're the people that if I was Martin Lewis, they're the people that I want to feed content to get them to amplify it. BuzzSumo, this is an amazing tool. They keep releasing new stuff. If you don't know BuzzSumo, go and check it out. The blog is awesome, okay? Here you can search by influencers, content. They now created alerts. You can put domain names in and find out all about the authors of that site. It is an incredible tool. So you can search by keyword. I've put social recruitment in here. You can filter by bloggers and influencers. It will tell you who the influencers are. It's like walking into the pub and going, there's the king of the jungle in the pub. Let's go and learn about them. And you can find out what content they like to share. So that's going to inform you, right? If they like that type of content, I need to help them. I need to come up with that type of content. And they may share it into their communities for me. You can search by authority. And there's Andy Hedworth. He's top of the pops. He's been there for about 2 years. But if I wanted to get into the recruitment space, I'd be interested in speaking to Andy. And here's one thing that has really, really bugged me over this year in particular. And this is even with our clients, right, recruitment clients. You have this thing called an ATS in your world, or CRM systems in my head, okay? And it seems to me that people go in there to die. It's like the Twilight Zone. It's like, holy shit. I tell you not. Somebody I was with 2 weeks ago said, yeah, we've got a database. I went, how many? 500,000 people. I was like, 500,000, brilliant. I said, what do you know about them? Well, we don't really speak to them. I was like, what? We sell paint for Dulux. If we didn't speak to those painter and decorators every week through marketing, a talent pool, bollocks to a talent pool, it's a community of people. That's what it is. It's a database of customers you should be talking to all the time. They can amplify your content, and actually you should be assessing their potential. It's not about the person just for now. They could be ready in 12 months' time. Why aren't you asking them questions to keep engaged and assess the potential? The Twilight Zone, step into it, you just don't know what you might find. And so how do we make friends? Trojan horse, everyone's heard of the Trojan horse. So here's some tactics in terms of us for business development. 2 years ago, I wanted to speak at events like this. I'm going to give all my top secrets away now. And we thought, well, we work in the legal sector, and that works well, so why don't we target employment partners from big law firms who run events for in-house agency teams, HR directors, HR managers, and some recruitment agencies. We thought, that's a good idea, but some of them aren't really on digital because they're a little bit older, maybe. So what we did is we said, hold on, we'll target the younger employment solicitors who work with the employment partner. So we used Follower Wong. We found these people. There's a lady called Charlotte Caldwell. She'll kill me for saying this now. She's a lovely lady. And I put her on a list on Twitter, on Hootsuite, which is a tool. You can manage it all on your phone. There's a free version. I only use the free version. I walked into the pub. I added her to a list. I put a red mark on her. And I just watched, listened, and learned. I didn't go, Charlotte, can I come and work with you? Because that will turn her off. That's not how you romance someone at the bar. And at a time, a couple of weeks later, after I'd shared her content and helped her out, she talked about an event that she was doing, about the law around social media. And I was like, this is my moment. Charlotte, do you fancy a Peroni? I didn't really say that. But I said, Charlotte, this is brilliant. I'd love to know a bit more about this. Guess what? We do these things called Pizza and Peroni workshops. And we do about social media for business. Let's chat. 4 weeks after that, I've now done 15 events all around the country for Hill Dickinson to all of their employment clients. It started with the Trojan horse, influence the influencer. And we hear about influencer marketing, and here's some tips. It is a marriage, not a one-night stand. It isn't a one-night stand. Don't go for the quick date. This is a long-term relationship. I'm now personal friends with Charlotte. Not that personal. I'm now personal friends with Charlotte. And there's humans at the other end. We talk about all this technology. In the recruitment world, there's shitloads of technology. But at the other end, it's just a little old person. It's about human behavior, connected emotion, and being nice. Make friends before you need them as well. That's a really good, important one. Think ahead. Ego jacking. Massage their egos. Make them feel important. Don't just jump in. Listen to what they talk about. Be a giver, not a taker. In the world of networking, there's this thing called giver's game. Share and comment on their content first. Make them feel important. Write a blog that includes their tweets and tweet it out to them. Put them in a top something list. I speak in the insurance sector. I created a list 18 months ago of the top 66 most influential people on Twitter in the insurance space. I then tweeted out to all of them, hey Steve, check this out. You're the 7th most influential person in the UK in insurance. I was stroking his ego. But now, I've made a relationship. I started to connect with him. This is just digital prospecting, using human tactics in a digital world. And this is an interesting one. This is something we've been looking at a lot more recently, is employee advocates. What about our own people? You all have an army of people. Let's coordinate it. Employee advocate marketing, check it out, Google it, there's loads of really good stuff. But the stats are that employee advocates can reach 10 times a bigger audience than the brand. So if you're creating a piece of content that you want seeded into an audience, think about how you can lift it off. They put the space shuttle up to space. What's going on with the afterburners on the side? That's your employees. How do you coordinate that? Find your digital savvy people and involve them in your content planning. Embrace them and grow it and let it go. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be thinking, oh shit, what if they say something bad? It should be, this is amazing. We can really leverage what we're about to do. Measure, share, and grow. Grow the team. Then how do we connect? I'm getting cramp. For those that know, I get cramp whenever I'm on stage. It's a weird bloody thing. How do we connect? Okay, you may have heard of the IDA model, which is awareness, interest, desire, action. It's a marketing thing. It's been around forever. There's a guy called Avanish. Check him out, the See, Think, Do model. This is genius, okay? This is a consideration stage. You put leads in, and they come in at different stages. The C level is the persona. The person has a problem, but isn't aware of the solution yet. This would be passive candidates. They're happy in the job. They don't want to leave. But you need to build a relationship with these people. So you need to think about what type of content you create that disrupts them in the C, makes you get seen at that top of funnel. The Think has a problem, and now they're in research mode. They're thinking about, right, holy shit, am I going to fill these vacancies? How do I get around? I've got a real big problem. You now need to be creating content that gets found across digital channels, in Google, that puts you in front of this persona. And you'll know what those problems are because you'd have done your persona mapping. And you'll know how they're feeling and what their KPIs are because you've done their empathy map and the persona mapping. Then we have Do. They're aware of it, you now need to convince me. Show me a case study that's not just written, that's of a client that's similar to me, where you've solved a similar problem. Give me the confidence, the trust, and the belief that you can do what you say you're going to do. And the other thing in the recruitment space is validation. They like to see the people. How well do you sell your people on your site? Use the power of your people. And delight, they're already a customer. These are the people in the ATS, possibly, in the twilight zone where nobody ever speaks to them. These could be your next hiring managers. These could be your next placements. These could be the people you speak to try and uncover your why. Ask them why they work with you. They're all there. More research. There are 7 key topics or types of content that help us connect, that work the best. The magnificent 7. Content is the currency of influence. Content is the currency of influence. Industry pain points. What challenges did he face in oil and gas? What challenges did he face in .NET development? I don't know, but go and find out. How can you help them? Think of case studies. Customer questions. When we work with retail businesses, e-commerce, Tesco's, opticians, we speak to the salespeople on the phones. What do customers ask? How do you answer it? If they're about to put the phone down, what do you do? Do you know that about your candidates or your next clients? How do you get that online? Trending industry topics. Look at LinkedIn discussion groups. Look at the discussions that are going on in LinkedIn. They're the hot topics. Write about them. Think about that. There's a great example I've used in the past about .NET developers. Brand stories. Ollie was spot on with telling brand stories, but involve your people. And in storytelling, in neuroscience, our brains meld. If you tell someone a story, the neurochemicals in the brain start to match. It's a Vulcan mind meld. It's true. If you go to cinema, don't do this because everyone will think you're weird. 85% of the audience blink at the same time. It's true. 88% of stats are made up on the spot, but what do I know? But it's true. 85% blink at the same time. Oop. Research and analysis. Data analysts or data analysis are the future messiahs. It's where ideas grow. You see things, you see research papers and white papers or stats, and you either form an opinion and you think, well, I don't agree with that, or I do agree with that, and you've got something to say. So use data analysis to create something to say and ask, dare I say, ask your target influencers for their opinion on it. So create a bit of research. Outside the industry world, look outside your industry. What's going on and what applies into your world? And industry news and trends. A little bit boring, but look for newsjacking opportunities. There's a famous one in Australia, newsjacking, real-time marketing. An insurance company, Obama's going to Australia, and they're like, this small little insurance company stuck somewhere in Sydney, and they're like, what are we going to do? They insured Obama from being eaten by a crocodile for £500 million. And in 24 hours, it achieved 4,800 news articles across the globe. So that's newsjacking on steroids. Think about what's coming in your world. Content comes in different forms. It's not just written. There's videos, there's infographics, there's downloads, there's white papers, there's assets that you build on your site. And they all play at different levels. Humorous videos. The Kmart video is a C type of content. It's humorous, it gets shared. It creates an emotive response. Don't just do written content. It's boring. Excite and work harder to connect and earn the right so that your candidate or your target persona cares and shares that content. So what tools have we got? BuzzSumo again. On this one, I've typed in social recruitment, and it's gone off into the ether, and it's telling me what pieces of content out in the world attract the most shares. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. So what you can see is there's 5 there, and what's interesting is it's how many shares, but look, there's a couple of infographics in there as well. So that's telling you you've got to create assets. You've got to create content assets. You've got to think differently. Social crawlytics. This is amazing. Unilever have a phrase called steal with pride. Okay, Aldi have probably accelerated that. Don't know what they call it, but you see a bloody Daz product and Aldi have come up with something that's almost looking identical. This tool will take your competitors' websites or someone who you think's doing a good job. Digital gurus are in here. They do a great job in their world, wherever you are. They do a great job. If I was in competition to them, I'd use digital gurus. I'd use this tool on their website and see the type of content that they create that gets shared. Because that's a cue for me to go, do you know what? That's worked really well for them. So if you look here, what you can see is how to optimize your LinkedIn profile job search. And if that was me, I'd be going, well, how do we make that more creative? How do we create a series? Or why not offer to do it for people? Because there's obviously a need, and people are in research mode thinking about how they can make their profile better. Maybe offer the service. So people come into the agency and go, oh no, how are we going to do all this, man? It's going to take forever. Don't worry, it's not that hard. We have a framework that we work with. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to think about the types of content that we're going to create. See, think, do, delight. Answer the questions. What type of solutions can you offer to the challenges that they face? So think about your types of content. Put it across the length of time. Is it 1 quarter? Is it 2 quarters? Is it across the year? And then identify the business objective, the Steven Gerrard goal. What's your goal? Is it to engage with HR directors and interview them to find out the future challenges in their world, or whatever it may be? And the next one might be, we're going to release that research and do a video series of what we found. And then you plot in the different assets, the different tools at see, think, do level. These could be anything. These are just as examples. These could be LinkedIn advertising. It could be Facebook. It could be Twitter cards. It could be infographics, videos. But we're now starting to think with the goal in mind and taking all the theory and methodologies, the human, the chimp, and applying it into a see, think, do framework with a clear goal. And we're going to use our employees to set it off. And there's loads of tools. Now, people laugh at me when I say this. I manage my social media from there half an hour a day. Once you've done the planning, once you've laid the framework, and don't deviate, you can manage it half an hour a day. The 2 tools that I live by are Hootsuite, which is a very simple dashboard. It's free. And you can look at everything, and you put people on the lists, and you can hear what they're saying. You can see what they're saying. And Buffer. Does anyone use Buffer? Buffer's awesome. It will help you curate content. You put a subject matter in, and every day when I wake up, and Mrs. Google Dave's still asleep, I get my phone out, and I suddenly schedule 20 tweets for the day of subject matter that my audience, my followers are interested in, and it's all done from a phone. And then all I have to do in Hootsuite is do this through the day and listen to what my target influencers are talking about. It's as simple as that. But if I was you, I'd get yourself an apprentice. Who's got a social media person in their business here who just focuses on that? What? Not even 10%? 5% of you? Wake up! Wake up. These are the people that are going to romance your brand to your next clients, your next candidates. If you don't do this now, your competitors will form marriages with people and influencers that you won't be able to break. You need to be thinking differently. These are your digital prospectors, not in the future, now. You need community managers. How do we measure? Everyone asked me this, so I thought I'd show you some examples. In Google Analytics, we can measure the ROI. Any FDs in here? No, they're all a bit boring, aren't they, really? No, there's not many FDs. Any MDs, business owners? Yeah. Everyone wants to know the ROI. If we can't give the cost per acquisition and the ROI to Tesco's, to Dulux, they wouldn't work with us. So we want to know the ROI of social media. What this screen shows is you see assisted conversions is 175, and last click conversions is 277, say 450 conversions on that time frame that have come from the channels below. But there's LinkedIn. LinkedIn has given us something like 160 conversions, actual applications. If I converted 1 in 10 into a placement, there's 15. I don't know, an average, I mean, I don't even know what an average placement fee, let's say it was $5,000. You've just made 75 grand. You should be saying, how do we spend more? Not, why are we spending it? Let's measure the ROI. In marketing, there's a thing called attribution. Ollie touched on it before. We touch people in different ways before we make a decision. Often 7 ways is what people say. This is it in real life in analytics. People bounce in and out. We can see how they're moving in. This list goes on forever. Sometimes it will take people 60 goes before they convert. It's like my wife, she can never make her mind up. I meant to laugh at that bit. But if we take this into account there, look at number 4. Somebody came in through LinkedIn and they left. And then they typed the brand name directly into the browser and they applied for the job. But LinkedIn got them there first. So LinkedIn should have a little Brucey bonus. I think there's about 150 conversions down there. Again, apply the metrics. If you convert 1 in 10 into an application, 2 in 10, 3 in 10, put your fee on, bingo, you've got the start of an ROI model. It can be done. We do it in retail. Apply it in your world. See how social media is having a huge effect on amplifying your brand, but giving you ROI. Giving you ROI. But more than anything, be memorable. When we remember something, we create emotionally charged. Fires off in our brain, the neurochemicals go off, and it's dopamine that's released. It's the save button of our brains. As marketeers, that's something we should aim to do. Some of you may have seen this video and have used this many times before, but it's one of the most memorable ones. David and Goliath. Some people think, oh, but I might be only a small agency, and I just don't think this is for me. This guy, Mike Dobin, took on the might of Gillette. £600 million a year marketing budget. And he was like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to step into this space and change the way people think about shaving. He understood his personas, he empathized with them, and he thought, I need to connect with them through emotion, through a bit of humor. And he created this video.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, and drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you, see you, see you.
That was seen 16 million times in 7 days. 7 days? It's direct debit, razors to your door. That's what it is. He thought of something different. He now has an incredible fan base who are evangelists of his brand. A little old Mike Dobin taking on the might, the Goliath of Gillette. You can do the same. You need to think differently. That's the key. Aim to be remarkable, as Seth Godin says. Be memorable and give people goosebumps. Thanks very much.